white yarn, we're going to join to any chain 2 corner space with a standing treble, just like we did for the last round. Chain 2 and another treble into that corner space. So that's what your corners will look like. Now we're going to work a front post treble round your next stitch. And a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. So your next one will be in that front post from the previous round, front post treble. There we go, so that's your 3 trebles into your next 3 stitches. Now we're going to work a front post treble around that first treble that makes a little V stitch into that one chain space from the previous round, so into this one here, front post treble. Now we're going to work a half treble into that chain 1 space. So remembering this is a half treble, not a treble. And then a front post treble round the next V, the next treble that forms that V. There we go. So you can see that half treble hiding behind there. Okay. And then a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. And a front post treble around the last treble of that edge before the chain 2 corner space. Okay, so that is what we're repeating around each edge. So we'll do it again. It's a treble, 2 chain and a treble into your corner space. Front post treble around your next treble. 1 treble into each of the next 3 stitches. Front post treble around your next treble that forms that V. And then a half treble into that chain 1 space. A treble around the next treble which forms the V. A treble into each of the next 3 stitches. And a front post treble around the last treble of that edge there. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing along the next 2 edges. Just remember about when working into this chain 1 space that it's a half treble. Okay, so the last stitch that you do will be a front post treble into this last treble here. So I'll see you when you get to this point. So now we've got to this point, let's just check our stitches. So in between each chain 2 corner space, you should have a treble into the corner from the previous round, front post treble into your next stitch, 3 trebles over the next 3 stitches, a front post treble round that first stitch that forms that little V, a little half treble into that chain 1 space. So that's it there. A front post treble into that last V that forms that, into that last treble that forms that V. 3 trebles over the next 3 stitches, a front post treble into the last treble of that edge from your previous round, and then a treble into your corner, chain 2 space there. Okay, so that should be 13 stitches in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that little one there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 stitches in between each chain 2 corner space along each edge. And it's made this nice square shape. Okay, so now we can finish that off. Cut the yarn. Pull up with the hook. So we're going to be inserting the hook into that first chain again, so that's your front post treble, and that's your first chain there. There we go. So grab the yarn that you've just cut and pull through to the front. Insert your hook from back to front, just picking up the back loop of that very last treble that you did. There we go. So that's round 5 finished. We can grab the grey yarn for round 6. So we're joining with a standing treble to any corner space. Chain 2. And another treble into that corner space. Now we're going to work a front post treble around the next stitch. So entering your hook into that chain 2 space around the back of that treble and finish your treble off. Now we're going to work 1 treble into each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work a front post double treble around the second front post treble. So not this first one, this second one. So around the back of there. There we go. Then we're going to work a DC into that half treble from the previous round. And then we're working another front post double treble, reaching back over to that first front post treble. There we go. So that makes your little cross there. So now we're working 1 treble into each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then working a front post treble around that last treble of that edge. There we go. So that's what we're repeating. We'll do it again. So we're working this row exactly the same along here, so we'll be working this the same corner there as we are here. So that's a treble, 2 chain, and a treble into that corner. There we go. Front post treble around the next treble. 1 treble into each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, and then we're reaching to the second front post treble making a front post double treble around there. So yarn around twice, insert your hook around there, and finish off your double treble as normal. And we're working a DC into that middle half treble from the previous round, and then wrap around twice again for a front post double treble, working back over to that first front post treble. There we go, to make that cross. So now we're working one treble into each of the next 4 stitches, so we're not working into the top of this one here because that's where our double treble is. So into here. And then a front post treble around that last treble of this edge. There we go. So that's what we need to repeat another 2 times along here and along here. So your last stitch that you do will be a front post treble around here. So I'll see you when you get to that point. So now we're ready to complete round 6. We'll just take a look at our stitches. In between each chain 2 corner space you should have 15 stitches, then being the 1 stitch that goes into that corner stitch, into the corner space, sorry, from the previous round, front post treble, 4 trebles, a front post double treble, 2 front post double trebles, should I say, that cross over with your little DC in the middle at the back, and then 4 trebles, a front post double treble, front post treble, and then a treble that goes into that corner. So that should be 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little DC, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so if you've got them stitches in between each chain 2 space, then you've got the right amount of stitches. And just remembering that when you've worked a front post stitch, that you won't be then working into the top of that stitch, so you should have these little gaps here where you've done a front post stitch. Okay. And just remembering that these 2 here are front post trebles, and these 2 here are front post double trebles, and you've got that little DC. Okay, so now I'm just going to join this with an invisible join, and we can get on with round 7. So I'm inserting my hook into the chain that's after this front post, the standing treble. So that's our first chain. So there we go, round 6 all completed. So now we can grab our mocha yarn for round 7. So we're joining round 7 with a standing treble to any corner space. Chaining 2. And another treble into the corner. This is a nice easy round, it's not too complicated. So we're going to work a front post treble around the next stitch. Then we're going to work 3 half trebles. So make sure you're working half trebles, not trebles. Then we're going to work 7 DC. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So just making sure that you're getting your front post double trebles and that DC that's in the middle of them there. Okay. So now we're working another 3 half trebles over the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Leaving this stitch here where you're going to work a front post treble. Okay. And that's it. Nice and simple. So we'll be repeating that again on each edge. So you've got your treble, 2 chain treble into each of your corner spaces, front post treble around your next stitch, 3 half trebles over your next 3 stitches, 7 DC over your next 7 stitches, 3 half trebles over your next 3 stitches, and a front post treble around the last treble of that round. So it's symmetrical, your row, so there's not much you can get confused on. So if you do that all the way around, and I'll see you when you get to this point. So now that we've finished round 7, you can really tell that that last round is really squared off the edges of the motif. It was looking a bit round and misshapen when we did rounds 5 and 6, but the 7th round has really made it a perfect little square. So let's just take a look at our stitches. I said before that with this round there wasn't many places you could go wrong, but obviously you've still got the fact that we're using 3 different kinds of stitches, and since we've been using a lot of trebles, it's very easy just to revert back to what you've been using. So just remembering that we've got the trebles, half trebles and the DCs, and just making sure that they're all right. So in between each of your 2 corner spaces, you should have a treble that goes into the corner from the previous round, a front post treble that goes around the first stitch along that edge from the previous round, 3 half trebles, 7 DCs, and then 3 half trebles, and then a front post treble around the last treble from that previous round, and then a treble into that corner of the previous round. Okay, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 stitches in between each of your 2 chain spaces. So if you could check that you've got them right amount of stitches in between each chain 2 corner space, and then we'll be good to go. So I'm going to complete this round with an invisible join. I'm sure you don't need me to keep showing you on every round now, so I'll just get on and do that, and then I'll see you for round 8 with the black yarn.